And in the bottom left-hand side, it is representing nobody yet. It is Skillous. I like to build up this storyline, Ben. I feel like he needs to get into Team Liquid, but like I really have zero information whatsoever. I'm just, I just feel like he's the perfect fit. And knowing Nazgul and knowing the kind of players that he recruits, he kind of like just fits that Team Liquid atmosphere perfectly in my mind as well, because like the Team Liquid players, like a lot of the time, excepting you, for example, like I think like tend to be on the quieter side, on the more mild side, on the lovely side. Not that your character isn't lovely in its own way, Ben.
I didn't know where you're going with this, Cats, but I'll take that as a compliment. Like I do think Liquid people are lovable. In fact, I've been on either end of the spectrum. I was on EG, and I was called an asshole. Now I'm on Liquid, and it's nice. Now I'm called Voldemort. But this game thus far, HeroMarine did opt for, I think he went, he did. He went for a gas first opening, which definitely an unusual way of going about things. Very often it was like barracks into gas, and you do all that kind of stuff. Skillous does get to get a scout about. Probably did click on that gas as well, but an interesting way of HeroMarine going for things. And so far, I haven't seen him do a super standard opening in TVP so far.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much this matters, Ben, but the CC didn't get spotted there from the side of Skillous. So, like obviously, this is going to be, from HeroMarine at least, he's going to be looking to hide it. But is he concealing enough information? Like, does that do anything for him? I mean,
I'd love to say that it does something. I would never like to refute the law of Big Gabe, But this this probe over here does get to see, there's a reactor going on here. In fact, does it get to see the factory? It doesn't get to see the factory. Big Gabe is playing a very sneaky game. Does get to reveal that he did go a reef and killed a probe, which is nice. But he definitely wants to throw Skillous off a little bit.
Yeah, and it would be the right player to try to throw off, right? Like we were talking about, like how Skillous can crumble under pressure. That has been one of the biggest things that has held him back in the past, I think, in past tournament performances. And now that he is at his peak, like outputting the best results that he has in a very long time, still we see a little bit of glimpses of like he can choke. He lost to Young Yakov. He should never lose to Young Yakov of all people. Like he is something, and I don't mean because he's Young Yakov's like bad or anything, but he's also from the same country, right? So he should be aware of his tendencies. He should be aware of how he plays, because like there's a lot of tournaments that happen in that region, right? So I feel like you want to trick Skillous, you want to put the pressure on him if you're HeroMarine, and I think he's doing a great job of that so far.
Yeah, certainly. HeroMarine's opting for, it's kind of like a 2-1 after the CC on the high ground. Now he's going for a third barracks as well, which we know is very good against the Phoenix opener, which I think maybe the Reaper just spotted the Phoenix. In fact, I think he did, because that Cyclone was absolutely waiting there, and it was in a position that stops the Phoenix from getting into the main. And HeroMarine knows that whatever he's doing right now, Skillous has no idea whatsoever. So blocking any sort of info, that's a big deal.
Yeah, interesting move. They're hovering over the Reaper with the Phoenix. Do you think Skillous is trying to say this is a hallucination or something of the likes, or does he just want to keep tabs on the Reaper in case it gets a little bit too close to lift it up and kill it with an extra unit?
So I think it's one of those things where he wants to keep tabs of where that Reaper is and also deny scouting. Since he's blind, might as well make your opponent blind, right? HeroMarine moving out with what looks like a very feeble army, but this is pretty scary against what Skillous has so far. Some lock-ons happening.
Yeah, at least both of the Cyclones don't lock onto the same Phoenix, which could have been a move there from HeroMarine had he been paying perfect attention, right? Like I think they auto lock on, and as a result they lock onto two different Phoenixes, bruising both but not killing either. Another lock on onto another Phoenix here will cost all of its shields, and HeroMarine now looking to pull back, and that is the right call, very much so. Skillous definitely has enough to take this on.
HeroMarine did get himself supply blocked pretty hard though, and we look here at the base and it's like 2 depots on the way, has to call down a supply as well. So I love what you just said. Moving back there, absolutely the right move. But for some reason, a few beats are definitely being missed by HeroMarine, because even though that was good, back at home, that's just a little bit sloppy.
very unlike him as well, right? Like, we know Big Gabe, if he's not gonna mess up somewhere, like if he's gonna mess up somewhere, maybe, you know, the micro wasn't perfect, like some, like in TBC, maybe some Banelings connected or disruptor shots, like we saw against Hearthstone, for example, like were wildly effective, right? Like the micro from HeroMarine isn't always perfect, but his macro is probably the best out of any Terran, you know, maybe short of Maru, if that.
Yeah, there's a few good Terrans that are really damn solid. Like for me, Big Gabe comes across as like the European Cure in a way. Like Cure's just very solid all around, I feel, and that's absolutely like Big Gabe. This attack from Big Gabe though, this one is super scary, and I don't know how Skillous is going to stop this. Stim has just finished, +1's about to finish, along with the combat shield. That is 27 Marines currently on the field. Charge isn't done yet.
Yeah, I thought those Cyclones were a little bit too far in the front, but now they are with the rest of the army, gonna make it impossible for those Phoenix to catch them. And now it's actually the Marines that are gonna catch the Phoenix. 3 instantly go down before doing anything. That's 4 Phoenix. I mean, that is a huge investment. The majority of the army of Skillous has already fallen, and this is not anywhere close to being dealt with. Skillous will just have to tap out, and the HeroMarine with a very comfortable game 1 of a fairly simple timing by the looks of it.
That was like when you read a book and then the ending sucks. Like, it was so damn quick, you know? Like, I think HeroMarine did a really good job of just preventing info and just preventing Skillous knowing exactly what was going on. And then the call to go up to 3 barracks there after going for the factory was a really damn good call to make. And so far, this play by HeroMarine, where he does know when to go 3 barracks, seems to be paying off so damn well. Because as soon as you go a Phoenix opening and it's like, all right, I got 6 Phoenix on the field, what am I going to do with them? Against that army, there isn't much. Charge wasn't done. Adepts are not going to trade fairly against +1 Stim Combat Shield Marines either. Just a very easy win there for HeroMarine in game 1.
Yeah, and in very HeroMarine fashion as well, right? Like, that's a lot of what we have been seeing from Big Gabe in recent history. I think it's just very sharp timings. Unlike, say, a Clem who actively tries to apply a little bit more pressure, like have units here, have units there, and tries to pull you apart, HeroMarine usually relies on his macro and has very solid timings. This time he got supply blocked, like you were mentioning, and he still hit a very strong timing, at least as far as Skillous was concerned. So that does worry me a little bit, right? Because it shouldn't have been as good a timing as it normally is given the supply blocks. No,
absolutely. I think HeroMarine's trickery in that you can be greedier, like your opening could be a lot more efficient, but at the same time, the amount that you're keeping hidden from your opponent, that is so effective. And that game was like a great example of just throwing your opponent off a little bit and making him play safe and wanting to find out what's going on very quickly. We're going to get on into it though. Second map here, 2K Atmosphere. Spawning in the top right, playing as the blue toss, it is Skillous.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side in the red for mouse, it is HeroMarine.
I'm definitely looking forward to see what HeroMarine keeps bringing out. Because so far from him, very often when a series starts, I can almost bank on knowing what he's going to do each map. But I've got to say, this season has been so different for me when it comes to Big Gabe, because I've had no clue what opening he's going to do or where he's going to end up. So far, he definitely seems to like a lot of these 3 Rexy openings, but he has a very strange way of getting there, which, yeah, it's been very nice to see from him.
For sure, yeah, he does like a lot of those, like apply pressure, right, off of a sharp timing oftentimes, and it looks pretty great. So, yeah, hasn't been looking to do as much like, say, harassment, like Widow Mines and stuff like that as other Terran players in the matchup. But that kind of maybe throws Protoss players as a whole off a little bit, right? Because they are expecting that sort of harassment. Like the Phoenix are excellent at holding that type of strategy, for example. And here, like you said, HeroMarine choosing the strategy that already has an inherent advantage against the Phoenix. And for me, and please correct me if I'm wrong or speaking out of my ass, but also like when HeroMarine moves out with those first 2 Hellions and a bunch of Marines, Skillous morphs in or warps in a bunch of Adepts. And those do not really fare well later in the game, right? Like you would much rather have like Blink Stalkers or Charge Lots or anything that can actually scale against the upcoming attack from HeroMarine. So in backing away and forcing those kind of more or less useless units in combination with the Phoenix, which are already kind of countered, and then catching his opponent off guard, it was just a little Like it felt like a win on 3 fronts almost.
Yeah, no, you speak out your ass quite nicely, it seems, Cats. And yeah, this start of this game as well, very different, like already. So HeroMarine didn't go for like that gas first into barracks. He went for a Marine opening without an SCV scout. Skillous, on the other hand, delayed his expo a little bit and went for a Zealot first. So these guys definitely prepped and ready to throw out some different and weird and wacky stuff, because yeah, this is going to start to become a very complicated series between the two. And HeroMarine, look at this behind it. Double heli in production, that second barracks. I wouldn't be surprised if he adds a third barracks as well at some point.
That would be kind of like, yeah, in tune with everything that we've seen from him so far. Skillous once again accounting for the more harass-based type strategies here with the pseudo wall of at the front, right? And there is a couple of Hellions coming out, so perhaps that is warranted. They are going to try to poke. They're not going to find much. There isn't really a Reaper to open the door with a grenade. So, yeah, Skillous should be pretty safe here with the setup for now.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice wall, right? Oh, I say that, but the Stalker's not in it, and that Zealot.
Oh, no!
That is so bad. I'm so surprised he didn't go for that naked mirror line, but look at the scout as well. Skillous tries to kind of block it with the probes, but it's all spotted. HeroMarine goes for the low health. He tries to keep one of the Hellions alive for a little bit longer, but this kind of damage, this kind of info. I mean, nice micro by Skillous, trying to keep these probes away, but this is not what you want. And I'm just going to quickly look at HeroMarine's vision.
Oh no, don't get out.
And he gets out as well. He sees the Dark Shrine. And look at Skillous, by the way. I think he goes for Adept Glaives with this, which I don't know if that was kind of like a, hey, I'm going to like upgrade the Blink or whatever and kind of pretend, or if he's just like, you know what, screw it, we need to go for something crazy now.
I mean, Ben, we talk about the mental strength of players, and we talk about like how Skillous can be thrown off and how he can sometimes, you know, like seem a little bit chokier. Like, I am mentally devastated myself. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna commentate this game after this, you know? So like, I can only imagine how Skillous must be feeling after that. That's the type of little maneuver that just makes your stomach sink.
It absolutely is. And the one kind of saving grace for Skillous here is that there aren't any turrets up, which that makes me think did Big Gabe see this? Because so far, Cats, I don't think he did, you know. That's a massive oversight by him.
Yeah, he has those very thick, sexy glasses, but they're not going to do him any good here, Ben. He has 5 SCVs have fallen. There doesn't seem to be a scan
he just
available just
on.
yet. 50 energy. He just got 50.
No, I mean, he can't... Okay, but he had the lock-on the Warp Prism, right? Like, he just stopped it, I think.
Oh, really? I went to click on the CC, so I didn't see.
Okay. Right, so he is going to recall out of there with a Warp Prism. But so far, any damage that Skillous took, this absolutely gets him back into it. And I like this. The fact that he's finishing up that glaive thing, by the way, that is super curious. But if I look at the army comp of Big Gabe, it's not yet got any Marauders in the mix. It's just pure Marine. So if you do get the Adept Glaives on top of the big blob of Marines, mate, they're going to absolutely demolish him.
Okay, so I was just talking about how Adepts are useless, but that changes with the Glaives, then is what you're saying? Or
Oh, yeah. Especially against the army comp. Like, if you start getting to a mix where there's quite a lot of Marauders, well, that's problematic. And Big Gabe going for a Big Gabe special over here with that medevac drop over there. I'm a bit surprised that Skillous is going back to respect it like this, because you're not going to catch him. He just wants to
You're not going to catch him. Yeah, and also, like, you could slow it down, right? If HeroMarine takes the bait there, he starts dropping Marines 2 at a time, and then he wants to turn around. Oh, the Warp Prism, please pay attention, please! Of course, you gotta be paying attention to that. That is, I thought, what he was looking to bait, and yeah, the Warp Prism will get away. The Archons do get enough shots to empty most of one of those medevacs down to only 3 Marines. So now in the main, Skillous is kind of ready, but he maybe could have pulled back to the shield battering his main. Instead, he pulls back to the natural, and now the probes are a little bit exposed, but here are the Archons, and that should be enough.
Yeah, still though, like if I just take a look even now at Marine Law or rather HeroMarine's unit count, it's still not the scariest thing. Which those 2 Archons being on the aggressive, I think HeroMarine's super happy with the fact that Skillous chased him a little bit. And yes, I'm sorry, HeroMarine. I can't believe I almost called you Marine Lord. Jeez, what an insult.
What an insult. One of the bigger insults that you could do in this day and age.
The biggest, in fact.
Yeah. Unlike HeroMarine's personality.
Absolutely. HeroMarine moving out onto the map, though. This third base by him.
Or like Marine Lord's personality. I messed that up. Big Gabe has a big personality.
Of course he does. Of course he does. All right, DT in the mix here. He can kind of do some work. I mean, the Immortal's going to be proper big chunky boys here. Nice force fields by Skillous. Nice micro by him overall as well.
Yeah, big tank chill there as well into one of the Immortals will weaken it to fall to the consequent attacks of the Marines. And now those units are gonna having to kind of just hug a little bit of a shield battery that's gonna expire soon. And then actually really nice move from Skillous there, pulls a lot of the army of HeroMarine back, and then he pounces onto the rest of it with the Blink Stalkers, takes down the tank, and with that maybe he can hold. The Archons have made their way back. The shield battery is completely out of energy. This is still a lot of energy on the Medivacs, so HeroMarine can kite for days. But Skillous, I mean, making some magic happen. Is it going to be magical enough?
I mean, these charge lots, man, they are not charge lots. They're just slow, old age men at this point, just not doing much at all. And he's warping in more of them. But right now, it's not really doing much, Cats. They're not dealing the damage they need. And so far, HeroMarine's just walking all over Skillous in this fight.
Yeah, quite so. I mean, the Medivacs all spend all of their energy, or the great majority of them, which just speaks to how efficient HeroMarine ends up being. And while that looks like a hold from Skillous, it's HeroMarine that's going to be taking a base. It's HeroMarine that's upping workers. It's HeroMarine that has the mules to work with. It's HeroMarine that saves most of his army. It's HeroMarine ahead in supply and in army. So not looking like Skillous is out of the weeds just yet.
No, certainly still in the weeds, and this Immortal is going to be a nice addition to this army. +1 just finishes up for Skillous now, so he's on equal upgrades with his opponent, trying to get a little bit of a run-by going as well, and that should be pretty nice. No shield battery overcharge for the time being. Widowmine, oh! That was a juicy hit on the Immortal, taking it out.
Yeah, an attempt at a run-by here from the Zealots, but HeroMarine with a great response there. Transferring SCVs, might as well buffer a little bit and make sure that my army doesn't fall, and that I don't end up taking additional damage. So Gabriel playing a masterful game and series thus far. Skillous on the back foot. He's going to look for a fast fourth and try to get away with a little bit of murder here, as he's also taking at the same time and getting his +2. So this should be a window in which he is going to be find himself in a lot of different transitions, where HeroMarine, should he push out, should he do one of those sharp timings that we are used to from him, it's going to be near impossible, I think, for Skillous to stop.
It's going to be real damn hard, man. Like, the window for him is so small. It's like the Matrix 1 with that window that Trinity dives through at the start. You're like, holy crap, that's the small, tight window. But yeah, ghosts are coming out into the field. The first Colossus is being produced here. No thermal lance yet either. And I mean, he has the money to do it. The thing is, he's really on this tightrope that's so damn tight, basically, where he has to whip out the right number of units, can't really go crazy on tech, and it's like, all right, I need to keep my opponent back. I need time. How do I do it? So we see that he's getting units on that south spot. He's got a warp prism on the left side as well, dodging that sensor tower, and he's going to try and slow down this army at the same time. It's going to be so difficult.
It's going to be extremely difficult. And now knocking on HeroMarine's door, it's going to be a couple of Zealots that are just going to have to tuck tail and run. HeroMarine with a strong, large presence out on the map here. And I am terrified of saying Marine Lord. Every time I say HeroMarine now, Ben, I am like, did I say HeroMarine or Marine Lord?
I mean, again, it's really insulting. Anyhow, HeroMarine is getting in the face of his opponent, Skillous. This is all the time that he has here. I mean, this is quite a nice little Protoss army he has, but look at that concave. That is so much firepower from Big Gabe.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit too much from large Gabriel, as he's going to just corner the rest of the Protoss army. There is one Colossus on the high ground, but it's not going to be nearly enough. And Big Gabriel does test during that large timing window that he made for himself, where Skillous was trying to get away with murder, and he will not this time around. Instead, he will get a big 2-0 stamp, or 0-2 stamp rather, where HeroMarine has to be pretty happy with the start of this one, Benny.
I mean, he has to be more than happy. I saw what you were saying there. You were calling him by his first name, just skipping the whole possible Marine Lord saying, you know. I liked it. But yeah, it's really, really tough, man. Like, Skillous, he's down 2-0. This build from him was also very weird, very unorthodox. Like, a pretty damn fast Zealot to go across the map, and then it was like, all right. DT drop, it all got spotted. Not having your Stalker at the front there as well, which was super weird to me, because it was like, all right, I've seen a Reaper at the front, or rather a Marine at the front with my Zealot, and then it's like, why do I have my Stalker in my main base now patrolling up there? And it's like, unless your opponent went for like a Marine into a Reaper, which is super unorthodox, yeah, there's no point. So having those 2 Hellions come in, deal some damage, scout everything you're doing, just a bit offbeat there for Skillous, it's got to be said.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for him, still, even though HeroMarine did check on the DT shrine, he didn't really react to it, right? So there was some damage being done on the other side, 5 SCVs worth, but not quite the same, right? Like, it is considerably later into the game, so it's not exactly equalizing damage, even though both players managed to kill 5 workers technically.
Oh yeah, totally. And kind of the only reason that he got to kill 5 workers back, which is a bigger deal for Terran losing them, but that glaives, man, like, he made glaives, but he didn't even go for any adept stuff, right?
Yeah, not that I can remember. Like, in his defending army at the 3rd, there wasn't really much of that. Did he actually finish the glaives? Because he had blink as well.
I'm pretty sure he finished the glaives, which...
Maybe he meant to get charge, because he made zealots, and he got blink.
I mean, if that is the case, that he actually upgraded glaives, didn't use them at all, and then it's like, it was just a massive misplay by him, that would suck. It's also like, if he did go for blink and stuff, he would have had blink ready for the drops that were coming. The whole game was a bit of a mess, actually, now that I think about it, from Skillous. So I'm not surprised. He's asked for a little break here just to collect his thoughts. You know, we talked about how there is potential for him to choke a bit. So getting a completely wrong upgrade and doing a few of the moves that he did that game, because he's obviously playing more than decent, but when you think about how well it all aligns, it's obviously a little bit off. So hopefully he can ready those nerves a little bit, because he's played big matches before. He is damn good when it comes down to it. Just needs to relax. So I love the fact that he just kind of gave himself a little pause.
Furthest he's made it, though? Like, this has to be one of the furthest he's ever made it, right? Like, if not straight up the furthest in this type of event.
I'm not sure, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he has played, like, you know, like this caliber of match, quite honestly. Like, of course, like offline events and such, and in his country, he has done a lot to solidify himself as the best tournament player, etc. But I mean, this is a whole different beast, and it's against an opponent that he on paper maybe shouldn't beat. And I thought that maybe that would relieve some pressure. But yeah, I think that game was really messy thinking back on it, Ben. Like, as we're watching it, you know, like, he's making some cool moves and trying to, you know, like when he drags the army back and then like tries to snipe the tank. Like, I thought those were cool moves, but he was actually always playing from behind. And then just warping in towards the end of that slow zealots that you called slow old what did you say?
OAPs.
Old age. What is it? What is it?
Old age pensioners, man. They are just not
old
the
age
same.
Pensioners, yeah, wonkers. So it makes me think that maybe he thought he had charge because, yeah.
I think so. But we're going to get into it. So Berlingrad will be the 3rd map here, and it's a decent map for Terran. It's got to be said. So spawning in the bottom right, this is last chance here. He needs to win 3 in a row. It is Skillous.
And in the top left-hand side, leading up 2-0, and in mousesports for something like 1 billion years, it is Large Gabriel.
I just wanted to go back and check how many times he's actually finished, like, pretty high up on DreamHack and stuff. And he's finished top 8 multiple times, actually. Not just like once. Actually. So definitely been solid when it comes down to it. He's finished top 12 a few times as well, top 10 a few times. So yeah, definitely he knows he can do well. He's been this far before, but
just not ever further.
Right. So if you do have something just stopping you, it's like this invisible wall, you know. We talk about Harry Potter a lot, and you know, he's got his own little curse here, just stopping him from getting to the next phase. He needs to lift the curse, cats.
Yeah, I don't know why you start like every day. You start the Harry Potter, like, talk low key, you know, and then towards the end, we know we're gonna descend into madness, and you're gonna stupefy me without a doubt.
Or, you know, I'll lift you up, man, with a Wingardium Leviosa. We'll keep this boat a-flowing. All right. A Zealot first again from Skillous. That has me thinking, all right, he went for it the game before. Maybe he was happy with how it started, But HeroMarine again, doing something like every game, even though it's just the openings with the first few buildings, HeroMarine's been very good about, hey, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to do this now. Absolutely keeping his opponent on his toes. And HeroMarine is very experienced, so the fact that he is mixing it up like he is, I like that. And he's even here kind of like, hey, that Zealot, it has to be coming to me, right? Like, it has to be. But Skillous just walked it home.
Yeah, so that's going to work out for him. There isn't going to be much happening. And yeah, I mean, the Zealot, a lot of the time you expect that it will die, right, Ben? And here's just chilling.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Let's have a look-see. I mean, you do... At least you get a little bit of info, because right now we look at Skillous's vision. He has no idea what's going on. Like, he didn't do that probe scout on the map at all. So at least it would have been something. Now he has confirmation that, oh, I'm against a Reaper. And he does get to deflect it. Will that Reaper outstay its welcome? Oh, gets out of there scot-free. So nice bit of info there for HeroMarine, getting to see what unit count he's up against. And you get to see that 3 units already came out of that gateway. And oh my, Robo. You know what? I actually like that a lot from Skillous this game, except this might be the one game where it's not the best because HeroMarine isn't doing that 3 Raxi stuff. He's actually done a full-on tech here.
Right. And the Robo, like with a quick Colossus, would be kind of ideal to hold a 3 Raxi stuff, right? And you would come to expect it. And you would come to expect it on a short map like this as well, right? So like the idea from Skillous seems good. Like I like that you like it, basically. But you're right. HeroMarine is kind of playing around it, right? And this medevac has a lot of potential with the Hellions here. 3 Hellions, of course, can one-shot workers. So let's see what they can accomplish here. This could be an early exit as well. HeroMarine has gotten advantages in each game so far, Benny, and this one could be the exception. At least it gets spotted by the observer.
That was actually a really crucial scout for Skillous because this opening from him, I love the fact that he's been reading what HeroMarine's been doing this series and been throwing out, especially. But this game will be a little bit of a tricky one because that Colossus opening delays everything, man. Your third's going to be later, and there are 3 Stalkers in position here. There is a Warp Prism as well. Lovely pylon block there on the Hellions.
Yeah, and it's going to be just 2 probes falling for now. And it looks like that might be it. That Hellion does get to maybe get another shot off, but beautiful micro as well from Skillous, picking off those units as the Warp Prism spawns. So protecting the injured workers there. Very, very, very well microed. And now he's going to go and cruise onto the other side with the Colossus that he initially made defensively. He has the Warp Prism speed to work with. So we're going to see a lot of juggling here and a lot of micro here on the side of Skillous to try to find some Marines, maybe some SCVs.
Yeah, it would be lovely if he gets some damage done before the tanks are in good positions and stuff. Let's see. That tank's in a lovely position there, though. Can 2-shot SCV, so he can actually stick around. That tank obviously dealing a lot of extra damage to the armor, or the armored unit there of the Colossus and Skillous. This is kind of the first game where he's really got to get info, and he can now kind of just keep HeroMarine a little bit back. And yeah, as long as he micros this well, he's not going to be in too much trouble anytime soon. That being said, HeroMarine is making a really damn good army, and oh, it's a big Gabe drop, man. Oh, but it's getting stopped.
Big Gabe drop. Yeah, maybe he would have done better to just drop it here at the 3rd base and apply some pressure there. But instead, the medevac is a little bit too low now, so he's going to have to be very, very careful. I love what you're saying because this army looks very powerful from Big Gabe. The observer will be taken down and actually spot some of the SCVs moving across as well. There is a Colossus, but the Warp Prism speed was kind of a wasted investment for the time being. Has to be really careful, of course, with the interference matrix here. And the single Viking, very timely as well to stop the aggression and push back Skillous as soon as he did, means that Big Gabe can get out on the map himself now and try to apply a lot of pressure. And he's looking to do exactly just that. This is trademark Big Gabe. This is a very sharp, strong timing, even before the shield batteries are up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is super clean. And look at that. He's actually dodging the tank shots here. He's going for the shield battery overcharge with the tanks. He does take it out. Skillous, I think he's in so much trouble here. The Colossus, oh my god, he keeps it alive. He drops it out of the Warp Prism at the last moment there. Vikings do land, but look at the army supply, Cats. It is just so bad.
Yeah, and these 2 observers, I mean, they're going to die together as they siege together near the Raven. And this is just Skillous scrambling. And I mean, difficult to blame him. He's going to try to recall whatever he can. And that's a lot of probes that are going to be saved. But to what avail? I mean, it's HeroMarine still with a with a prominent space out on the map, with a very strong army pushing on forward, with the space should he want to transition and take a third, and he has actually already a nearly completed command center. So yeah, he is ahead in every which way. Yet again, 57 army supply, or 60 now to 30. It is near impossible. It is impossible. It is done.
It is done here. It's absolutely done. The one shield battery does fall. The Colossus goes down immediately. Charge is done now, but there are no units to use it with, and this looks like the end of the young Skillous here in this tournament. Shield battery overcharge, though. Is there a hope? Is there a dream? Those Marines are stacking. They don't have stim yet. The Archon's coming in damn strong, dealing a lot of damage, and this army is kind of getting cleaned up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hold. How much more than a hold do you need? I think you're spot on there. The Marines not really having the stim there. It's going to be crucial for Skillous to actually push this back. Marines will actually finish +1 attack before stim.
Yeah, it's a weird way of going about it. Like, we have to talk about how, quote-unquote, all-in-y that was from HeroMarine. Because, I mean, he lost quite a few workers doing it, like a good 6 or so. But he delayed all the upgrades. That was all about hitting a window before Skillous got up and running. That being said, HeroMarine kept alive a lot of the very vital units here. That Raven, still alive. He still kept all the medevacs, all the big heavy gas units. And now Skillous has been reset entirely. I mean, he's on 2 bases. He's on way less workers. HeroMarine got done everything that he needed to, and that resources lost habit does not lie.
All right, but at least it's not game over. I mean, I could have sworn that game was going to end right there and then. And now we have Skillous, I mean, holding on and trying to just fight for his tournament life. But if this is to be a comeback, it's going to be one of the bigger ones that I've seen maybe in this whole tournament, if not all year, right? So let's see if Skillous can make some magic happen. It's going to be charge loads that are going to be his weapon of choice for the time being. And that is usually a pretty good weapon.
I mean, they're a damn good weapon, but I'm seeing Liberators move out. I'm seeing a ton of Terran. There are 5 siege tanks on the field. Granted, they're not the best thing against the Zealots, but even these Archons are pretty low health. That being said, he's pulled HeroMarine massively out of position here.
Yeah, very nice moves, reminiscent of that first game here. Skillous is going to get into a good position to do some damage into both the third base and potentially the natural. On the other side, HeroMarine is going to look to equalize with his drop. If Skillous can shut that down and continue to find success here at the front lines, there is a universe, Ben, where maybe we have some sort of stabilizing. It's going to be HeroMarine on the other side now with the Liberators. Skillous does pull away the probes in the natural base expansion. Now we'll have to do some work in the main as well, as only 2 probes are exposed likely for him, but some of them will gravitate towards that mineral patch that is now addressed. But yeah, all in all, I mean, maybe a good minute for Skillous, but he's still in a terrible position.
I'll be honest, that went 10 times better for him than I thought it would. Like, I'm looking at the resources lost tab again. It was kind of like doubly as bad for Skillous. Look at this, by the way. He's trying to get a sandwich going here, flanking from both sides, but waits all the charge on the orbital. The other side comes in as the other side backs off. This is a bit badly coordinated. The warp prism as well is stopped here. So no more warp-ins, at least from this south side, and the orbital worked as the best tanking bag ever there.
Yeah, and we have officially falling apart. Double the supply now for HeroMarine. Army supply nearly triple, actually. So, yeah, more than triple now, which is no bueno, as your opponent is going to be the red streaming on the map. And you're not going to be able to see it, but you can certainly feel it if you're Skillous. This is the end. This is the Doom push. This is your tournament. And, yeah, I mean, you just don't have the tools here, right? So it's just, again, no chance.
But who better to be standing above you on your grave than Big Gabe himself? He stood here with such a big army. He is the Grim Reaper, the Gatekeeper, and GG, well played. Good luck, Nest is called. And Big Gabe, he won't go down without a fight. And here he is, 3-0 in